guys, Derek and Steve here. Wrap up on the video for the show. Man, it was incredible show. The expectations for us, I think we exceeded them. I think we did as many cars or more than we thought we would. We put a lot of work into it. I'm sure you guys know that. And we're already started for next year, trying to get things started for next year. But I guess it's funny. The weekend started out kind of like it always does with rain on Friday. And man, it was some heavy rain. I personally had the first leak I've ever had come in the window of my Vanagon through the rear hatch. So the rain came down, but it didn't slow anybody down. And we actually had, how many cars were camping on that night?
I left Friday after setup about 4 o'clock, and I counted 60 plus at that point.
Wow.
I know they're still coming in the rest of the
That's
evening,
awesome.
So
yeah, that's probably double
it's
the
more
amount.
than we had at our entire first show.
Wow. Oh, it is.
I think we had 47 at our first show ever.
Wow.
Back in
Okay.
2012.
Wow. When you put it that way,
was-
that's wild.
That was the ride or die guys on Friday.
Yeah, and what year was the first show?
2012.
2012. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it came a long way since then for sure.
And somebody brought up when I was walking around, hey, so I heard this started in Alabama. I'm not sure how that got around, but no, it's been at the same spot every year, Mullet Fest ground since 2012.
Social media stuff just goes around and people start saying it like it's the truth. But yeah, the camping turned out very good. I definitely was the most buses that we've ever had camp. There's no doubt about that. If I had to guess, I'd say by Saturday there was probably close to 75.
Oh, yeah.
So the camping went great. Everybody just went with the weather. And then Saturday and Sunday turned out to be absolutely beautiful. The biggest thing that I wanted to start out with is talking about the sponsors. All the sponsors came out early. So basically, I think our first sponsor was at 10 months out from the show. And that was Riverbank Customs. Chris and his guys. Oh, yeah, he's got your shirt on, guys. And Chris is always one of the first guys to step up. So we wanted to give them a shout out for that. But all the sponsors stepped up big, and we were able to give our cash prizes.
A lot of cash.
Yeah, we really did.
Cash left and right. It was fantastic.
It's always fun handing out cash to people. That's an experience like I've personally never been able to do that for any other reason,
Right.
So it's great to see that and the look on people's faces.
It's kind of funny because I forgot to give out cash with the top 20, so we had to call on back. So here's a line of people, and I'm just handing out 50s like they're candy.
Hey, that's great. I love that. That actually kind of made it kind of fun. But all the sponsors were great, and then of course we had vendors. And then I also wanted to do a special thanks to all the people that worked the show. It's obviously a lot of my friends, Steve's friends. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do the show. My wife, of course, Steve's wife, putting up with the dedication and the time and the effort it takes to do it. That's a big one too. I mean, without their support, we wouldn't be able to do it. So big shout out to those ladies too. I've been really excited about how the show went. But I'm actually very excited about next year, like already, For those guys out there that have done shows before, I don't know how Steve felt before him and I started doing it, but I still feel renewed every year afterwards. I'm not like dreading the following year. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. I'm very much excited for it. I'm ready to break more records with our attendance. Last year was 150. That was our biggest ever. Yeah. This year was 230. We were wanting to get over 200, and then it's like maybe we can break 225. We hit 230 exactly.
So right at 230. Yep. And then I'm a goal setter, so I really want to see 300 next year.
We'd do it,
and there shouldn't be any reason why we wouldn't do it with the support from you guys. And shout out to the guys from South Florida, Tennessee, Georgia. I think we had cars from, I want to say it was 6 or 7 states registered.
Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
The furthest. Yeah. And we had 2 different people.
Wow.
A water-cooled and, who was it?
Leo.
Leo.
Yeah, was in his split window. Yep, so that was awesome. But that stuff's always great. And the improvements for next year, I know that's something we wanted to cover. We've already talked about some of this, but the Porta-Johns. I actually talked to some people at the show about the Porta-Johns. And it was a nightmare, and we're going to have to do way more than we did this year. So we've actually really stepped the game up on that, and we have decided to, and we've actually already rented it. It's a 10-bay restroom, so it's AC, it's heat, it has sinks, it has running water, stalls. It's a legit bathroom, so we're going to have that. That's going to be a nice upgrade for everybody. Something we're excited about.
Me, so I don't have to go maintain them all weekend. That was horrible.
Yeah, Steve had a lot of fun with that. Pouring water in them.
I saw stuff that no human being should have to see.
And then, of course, supplying the crazy amounts of toilet paper throughout the weekend. So next year should be a little bit easier, and it's obviously going to be better for you guys too.
The main difference with that is going to be, you have to walk a little bit to get to them.
Yeah, it's going to be centrally located.
Yeah, so it's going to be over closer to the RVs where we got enough power and a place to park it and a place for them to come empty it on the weekend. But I think most people would rather walk a little while and get a clean bathroom than...
Yeah, especially something like this. I'll actually I'll post a picture of the thing at the end of the video or down in the comment section. Is there something else you want to cover, Steve? You can go ahead and talk about a couple things.
I'm sure I did, and I already lost my notes. One thing that comes to mind is we had, I'm not going to call it a situation with the RVs, but RVs are getting bigger, and we filled all of our spots this year to the point where all these ones with the slide outs couldn't really fit. So we're going to have to change from, there's 30 allocated spots there. We're going to have to decrease the number of spots and increase the size. So we're going to go to 20 spots, give everybody a little bit more room.
Yep.
With that being said, we're going to increase the price of them. So for the whole weekend, it'll be $60 to cover those costs, plus costs involved with, getting new not porta potties, but the bathrooms and stuff. So we have more costs incurring this year. But $60 for 3 camping nights, I think, is more than reasonable to have water and power.
And along with those 20 spots, I don't know this for sure, but I did find some other spots that were kind of over towards the entrance that are power. Right. So we're going to look into those and possibly maybe be able to do maybe 25 RV spots. But as you guys know from last year, the RV spots sold very quickly. So when we put them on sale, we sold all 30 within about 2.5 weeks. So this year when we announce that, if you're wanting an RV spot with power and water, you're going to have to jump on it quickly in order to get one, especially with reducing the number of them that we have. Now, of course, we'll still have plenty of room for RV overflow if you're running a generator and you want a spot for your RV. You just may not be in the power and water area if you don't get on them early. So that definitely be something different.
And we'll try to do a overflow, like a standby list. Yeah. So you'll be an overflow. But this year, not realizing what was going to happen, we had some people back out and then we kind of put up for grabs. Hey, who wants this one? I think we should do, and it probably will, is first, whoever the first person is on the standby list bumps up. Yeah. So you get bumped up automatically. You don't have to fight for it later on and pay attention to Facebook all the time. Once we get an opening, we'll just automatically bump you up into a regular spot.
The RVs was a surprise for me. We never really had to worry about them, first come, first serve, and it was like I was getting inundated with people asking about the RV spots, which is great because that means we know people are traveling from longer distances. Speaking of the longer distances, going to 3 days was a big part of the success this year, absolutely. In my opinion. The people that came from Tennessee and the long distance people, a lot of them said, we weren't going to come to this show until you guys went to 3 days. And then now, well, it's worth driving 8 hours, 9 hours to come to a 3-day event. On the topic of the events were phenomenal. The cruise on Saturday, I have to say that Destin, the water at the beach, it showed out like it looked like something off of a postcard. And we've had people that came to the show that had never been to our area before, and they were blown away by that. If you get a chance, go on our Facebook page and the website and check out some of those photos from the beach. So that's another thing that we want to make sure that everybody knows that next year we'll be doing the same thing, making a trip to the beach on Saturday. Hopefully we'll get the drive-in movie in. We're 0-2 because we got rained out 2 years in a row on Friday. Right. So we didn't get the movie in, but that'll be on the docket for Friday for next year. The other thing that is, always awesome is the Lantern Walk. This year, the Lantern Walk was after the concert, and the band was a big hit. And actually, the band said, "Hey, we want to come back next year," because they had a great time too.
Everybody had a great time.
Really we were impressed with how many people came up to us afterwards and said, "Man, that band was great. You guys need to have them again." So, shout out to Tribe Zion. Definitely want to have you guys back next year. And then we did the Lantern Walk rescheduled for Saturday night, and we had a great turnout for that. And I would have to guess, man, there had to be 150 people on the Lantern Walk. It was huge. I mean, we were covering the whole property, going all the way around. So we'll definitely be doing that, and we're going to try to come up with some new stuff too. But it's like if that's not broke, don't fix it. like the responses this year have been so good that I think we're going to kind of stick to the format we did this year and not change that much.
A lot of people like the car stereo competition too. Everybody's hanging out there by the stage.
Yeah.
I've already talked to the stereo guy. He's going to do it again next year. And he's going to put out a list of stuff that he's looking for. That way you're not going in blind.
Yeah, good idea.
So I'm looking for install. I'm looking for sound quality. I'm looking for loudness and whatnot. So he's going to put out a little flyer type thing. Well, and that'll be all on our website, so you'll know what to look for, what to tweak for when you come out. We're trying to keep it somewhat informal. He's a formal guy.
Yeah,
he does this.
He's very knowledgeable.
Yeah. So I told him, try to tone it back a bit, but some standards would be good. So we're going to go with that.
Well, how many cars did we end up with that?
I have no idea.
Just by looking at it, I'd say it had to be a dozen cars.
Oh, yeah, it was over 20. I'm sure.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely over 20.
And I personally didn't expect that when we decided to do it. It was actually Robbie Johnson, VW Getaway. It was his idea to try to do a stereo competition. And I thought, well, we'll get 4 or 5 cars. I had no idea we were going to get people, really that much interest. So we're definitely going to do that again next year. And we might end up adding something else throughout the weekend, too. One of the things I wanted to talk about and cover is the sponsorships for next year. We are going to do a tier system on the sponsorships. Some of you might be familiar with that. Some of the other shows do that as well. But we already are getting people wanting to sponsor as we speak. So Steve and I are going to be working on that here in the near future, and we'll let everybody know how we're going to do it, how much it will be. But the sponsorships, like I say, are already coming in. I've had about 5 guys contact me already that are wanting to sponsor, so don't be late on that. Make sure you get in contact with me or Steve for the sponsorships, and obviously social media will be a big part of that. I put a lot of social media stuff out there for people.
Right, and we will have opportunities to purchase sponsorship online too, so you won't have to do a cash exchange or whatever. Once we get everything up and running, you'll be able to go to the website and pick a tier level if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. And then we're going to have vendors. We are going to charge a small fee for vendors, but honestly, it's almost more so that we can have them in a database. So when we know exactly who the vendors are, what they sell, that kind of stuff. So we're probably going to charge vendors around $15, something like that. It's not going to be expensive. Like I say, it's more for our record so that we know exactly who's coming and what they're going to be doing. That'll help us out a lot. I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head that we really need to discuss, but the biggest thing is it was a success, and we're ready for next year.
Well, I don't think we hit on it or not, but we were talking about the increased costs we got going on next year. We are going to increase the pre-registered fee to $25, which is still, I think, very reasonable. But that's going to help offset the cost of these bathrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
They're quite pricey. I mean, it's $3,000 to get bathrooms this year. Which is the most expensive thing for putting on a car show is bathrooms.
Yeah, I actually had that same discussion the other day with a friend, and they were like, hey, how much do you guys have to pay to do this? And I was actually talking to Hot VWs. I didn't talk to you about that yet. And they kind of wanted to know, how do you put on a 3-day show? Like, what money do you have to spend and how do you do it? And they felt like it was a big ordeal to put on a 3-day show. And when I told her how much the restrooms alone were, they were like, oh my gosh, can't believe you're going to have $3,000 in restrooms, Yeah. And so some people don't realize what all that goes into it. But all that being said, every penny that we basically get from the show, it either goes to Niceville to the fireworks fund, or it gets put right back into the show. Steve and I aren't making a profit from it.
Penny.
For ourselves, we're doing it to every single year the show can get bigger and better and have more stuff for people to do and more stuff to give away. Better raffles and better things at the facility. So just keep that in mind. When you do see something go up by $5, it's not so I can buy a better meal at Five Guys.
I'd have to go for more than $5.
Yeah, the $35 burger. But it's been an exciting year, guys. I really want to thank everybody that attended the show. We obviously couldn't do the show without all the people that just come and hang out and enjoy the weekend. Next year we'll have more spectators, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we had a lot of spectators. I don't know how many we had, but every time, because I had our little staging area up there by the gate, and every time I'm going, there was a lot of cars parked up there. Yeah. Different ones all the time. We had people come after we were tearing down.
Okay,
people driving down 85 see everybody out there.
Right.
And they're flipping a U-E and coming back up because, so word of mouth is getting out there. We're getting a lot more non-Volkswagen spectators coming by just because they want to see them.
I love that.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to just give a couple of special shout outs at the end here. One is Jeff Taylor. Jeff is a good friend of mine. He's my bass fishing buddy. And Jeff has always stepped up for me personally. Anything I need, he does it. So, Thursday we did all the setup, and I worked him to death. And him and I always joke that he gets around pretty good for a 98-year-old. And so, but dude, I worked him to death on Thursday, and he was a trooper, and he's always got my back. So he also helped us clean up after the show with Chris and Jason, Chris Pedinich, Jason Phillips. That kind of stuff is invaluable, and I don't think people get enough credit when everybody leaves the show and everybody's going home and they're still there helping us out. So
yeah, and I'd like to thank everybody that came too when it comes to cleaning up after yourself.
Oh yeah. Yep.
In the past, you just got trash everywhere. People would just
Yeah.
overfill trash cans and let it spew, and we really didn't have that issue. There was no major issues with trash and stuff like that. So I there has been at other shows. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
We try to put as many trash cans out there as possible. Seems like it worked. So yeah, we had no issues with that. It was fantastic.
I love that. Yeah, that's
major.
definitely-
Other than it was nobody else's fault. We had open trash cans and then it rained, so I had to go dump water out of these trash cans, which sucked. But it went smooth.
Yeah, that's very helpful, man. And that's definitely one thing I'll say about the Volkswagen community. Like, it's a little bit different than the other car communities in that aspect that everybody does a good job of cleaning up after themselves. So it's not a lot of work for us, One other couple of things I wanted to shout out was Gary Miller. Gary, towards the end of the show, we were doing the tallying of the votes, and I was busy with other stuff, and Steve was slamming out trying to do it, and we needed an assist, like basically somebody to read the numbers to Steve so he could input them to the computer. And Gary always offers, like, hey, man, anything you need, let me know.
Absolutely.
Well, this time I took him up on it. So if you guys don't know, that's VW Jawbreaker on YouTube. And so we grabbed him, and he helped out Steve.
Yeah,
and that
appreciate it, Gary.
Yeah, thank you, Gary. And
Came in clutch.
we'll see you guys next
I'd still be
year.
counting if you weren't out there helping me.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. And that's the kind of stuff that happens throughout the weekend. And I'm sure there's going to be somebody that we don't mention in the video that did like pitch in to help out with something like that. But we appreciate everybody that did. And then also a couple other things. Mofungo Power. I know you're out there, man. I know you're going to watch this video.
Mofungo Power.
The number one promoter out there for me this year, dude. You were putting our stuff on everything, and the attitude you bring, and you're infectious the way you act. It's a killer vibe. So you make a show better every time you're around. So I want to make sure I shouted you out. And then the other person too, man, that has always had our back is Brewdub. Brewdub shares all our stuff, talks about us on YouTube, interviewed us along with Dub Life Diaries. Joe, you guys do a great job with that too. But honestly, that's what this show has been about. Like the last couple years, when I got into it and started doing it with Steve, I had no idea how many people were going to have our backs when I met them at shows and said, hey, come check this out. The next thing I know, I'm on their YouTube channel watching a video about us and about what we do. So that's awesome, man. And that's really what it's about. And so we've grown this as a community. We've grown it as a group. And we're going to be continuing to do that throughout the years. And I'm going to continue to do the same thing for those guys. Anything they need, I'm here to help them out with it. So overall, Steve, I guess you've been happy with the last 3 years, huh?
Absolutely ecstatic. Ecstatic, just trying to figure out ways to overcome hurdles as far as voting and registration is always a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But I'm getting it more automated every year, and we discussed it earlier. Might go with a online car show company with their app for voting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll help, because with this shortened show day,
Oh, right.
come
yeah.
11 o'clock,
Yep.
I'm sitting in a van again,
Yep.
tallying up and trying to get spreadsheets done to rack and stack all the votes and make sure everything's good. And we had a couple of hiccups because of that. And
Yeah.
just trying to make it a little more automated. So I think we'll probably fix that this year, and then it's smooth sailing.
Oh, yeah. Well, when Steve and I started this 3 years ago, I don't know what his expectations really were because he hadn't done it in a while.
They've been exceeded.
And I feel like they have been too. I wanted to do it for our local community, and I wanted it to grow, obviously, but it's definitely exceeded my expectations. And also, personally, it's the expectations of Steve and I's friendship. We're closer and better friends than we've ever been. So I think that part of it is something that gets overlooked personally, like about doing shows and doing clubs with people. Like, you develop real relationships and
Absolutely,
friendships,
yeah.
and And I'm pretty good at small talk, but I really like stuff that's deeper than that. And I've gotten that from so many people through doing this show. So that's really special. One thing that's also came out of you doing the show is Steve didn't have a Volkswagen for quite a while.
3 years.
How many?
3 or 4. I don't remember. When I sold my bus.
Yeah, he sold the bus.
3.5 years.
And he's been doing the show the last few years with no Volkswagen. And of course, me and some other people were like, man, come on, you got to get another Volkswagen. Well, look right back here between us.
Yep.
So this is the next
56.
project. Steve, you want to tell us about the project?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm deep-seated in history with this one, where I helped a buddy pick it up 15 years ago in the middle of New Orleans and told him, I'd help you, but if you ever get rid of it, I want first dibs. A couple years later, he hadn't done anything with it, hit me up, and I didn't have time for it, so I passed it to another buddy.
Yep.
And he and I were building it. My brother did all the paint and body, and kind of lost touch. We weren't hanging out, and he quit building it. So it's been sitting around for about 7 years, so I hit him up, made him an offer, and so now it's in my garage. So now I'm tearing it back down, and I'm hoping to process everything and video it. I want to throw this stuff on YouTube, not to be, a social media guy, but just to document the whole process on it and help people out. So look forward to learning how to do that and getting it up there. It'll be called Floridubber on YouTube.
Yeah, I love it.
Don't hold me to it. It's out there, but there's no videos yet. But
I like
look
it,
forward
man.
to seeing some build processes on this here, and then hopefully have it done next spring for No Dough.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it too. Like, I'm hoping I get the chance to come over here and work on it sometimes too, if you'll let me. But the point of that was basically is I feel like he's officially part of the family again.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the same when he couldn't go cruising with us and do some of that stuff. So that's super exciting, another development, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. But we'll let you guys go for now. We're working on almost 25 minutes of wasting our time with you, or wasting y'all's time. And of course, anybody that needs to reach out to Steve and I, you can do it through Facebook, through Bugs on the Bayou. You can do bugsonthebayou.com. And we'll be adding lots of stuff to the website, updates, YouTube videos for some of the guys we mentioned, photos, everything to do from this year's show to show you what next year could potentially be as well. So we really appreciate y'all's time. The Bugs on the Bayou guys, hey, we're here. We're here to stay.
Absolutely. See y'all.